Right. Well, good morning, everybody. How are you doing? We were just wondering, is this our most viewed show already? I don't know what's happening. Why so many people? I don't really get it. Anyway, hi, good morning. So this is the Space Junkie team, and this is our regular Monday takeover. We've been thinking about skipping this show, but because of the busyness and the preparations, but why would we do that? Obviously, we didn't do that because it's fun. It's always fun to talk about Starship. And as always, I'm not doing it alone. I've got David here with me. Hi, David. How are you?
Hi, Sabi. Hello, everyone.
Excited?
Yeah, I guess that's the correct word for my condition currently. Yeah, and what we could just experience in the last couple of hours that was a roller coaster. So
Indeed, it was. Yeah.
whether Starship will gonna be launched today or not, so all around just question marks. But maybe we have the answer now. But
Yep.
yeah, we will talk about it a bit later.
Absolutely. So if we are new to you, we are a Hungarian team, and we just take over on this channel for about an hour time every Monday morning, and we talk a bit. Obviously, Felix is not here with us. You can expect him coming in the evening, so a couple of hours before the launch, the live stream, the official live stream will roll, and you can watch hopefully this launch with Felix. So all eyes on the ship quick disconnect because
Yep.
for some reason it's still not connected yet. But before we get there, yesterday we had a launch attempt. We were streaming it on our channel as well, and we had like I don't know a couple of thousand people. Well, a bit over 1,000 people watching with us from Hungary, and it was kind of a disappointment, let's be fair, because we did not expect it to be disrupted. We expected a launch, and eventually it just did not happen. What was the problem?
Yeah. Um, After all, I can say that I had a bit bad feeling about this, that they have skipped the WDR, so the weather dress rehearsal with the full stack.
Hmm.
So they didn't go for it, and maybe that was the problem, that they haven't checked every system in the first and the second stage, quick disconnect and fueling system. And yeah, actually that was a problem, but maybe everybody thought that the problem was coming up because of these modifications around the OLM and this strange adapter,
Hmm.
what was needed for the ship static fire, but not. It was a quite surprisingly with the ship quick disconnect arm, what we can see right now on the screen. So I guess nobody thought that this would have a failure, but yes, it had a failure with the oxygen side of some hose or pipe. But what we have seen in the last couple of hours, that some technicians and engineers went up, and they have changed at least one hose, and yeah, it took some hours, and that's why we couldn't be sure that whether the Starship could be launched today or not. But it seems then that the countdown was resumed, and on the SpaceX website, the countdown clock is running
Ticking.
as well.
Hmm.
Maybe that's the most important thing. And also, which is important, then the road closure is already scheduled, so it's not planned but scheduled already. So everything shows that direction, or showing that direction, that SpaceX tries to launch again today, and but the weather is still a watch item. So
Hmm.
we can't be still 100% sure. We can't never, we can't be ever. So, but at least the attempt seems to be, it's going.
Hmm. Okay, so that quick disconnect arm and then the quick disconnect itself, it looks like I think like this. It's like a face hugger. Let's show it to the viewers, Jonathan. because we always like to make fun of it. Yeah, that's. So if you're familiar with the Alien movies, that's what it reminds us. Obviously, it's not as bad as it looks, but but definitely that's the thing that should connect onto the ship, and that has not happened so far. So we are keeping a close eye on when that thing is going to happen, and hopefully
Hmm.
during this live stream we can end it with some good news that it's connected or it's about to get connected, and
But at
nothing
least,
nothing
or
will prevent the fueling.
the engineers are still there, or
I don't see any
they
movement at the moment, but
they
probably
left already.
they just still they're just standing still.
Yeah.
But they can connect it while they are up there, right?
Yeah, I'm just asking because if they are finished, then I guess they leave the site and the QD,
But
so
that's
the
what I'm
adapter.
saying, that they can attach it whilst they are there, so they don't
Yeah,
need to
but it's
leave it.
automatically, so it's not manually anymore,
Hmm.
unfortunately. So the technicians they don't have to be there
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
attach the adapter to the hole.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Jonathan is
but
pointing
it's they are
towards
still there.
one
Okay.
person. I would be
Mm.
surprised if they would leave before it is actually attached.
Mm. Yeah, we will see.
Just because they don't do it manually, they can overlook
Mm.
the process, and just keeping an eye on things going
Okay. Yeah, so we will see how the next couple of hours
good.
will look like. But yeah, as far as I mentioned, everything is that direction. That's the next or the second launch attempt gonna be today. So yeah,
Hold
again,
on. Before we do that,
okay.
let's just roll some questions, because it's not like our usual show. There isn't much to cover, because usually we cover what's going on or we have a special topic. But let's keep a focus on questions in this
Okay.
show, and let's try to answer them. So the first one from William, and he's asking, well, when is the next launch attempt planned? So that's, I think, we kind of answered. So
Yeah,
that's
so the launch window again is 6:30 until 7:30 local time.
mhm,
So 1 hour window again,
mhm,
and the countdown is actually running to the first minute. So
mhm.
the very start of the launch window currently.
I can see there's a lot of people from Europe. So for European time, Central Europe, Central European time, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's 1:30 to 2:30 a.m. So very early. Well, right in the bang on in the middle of the night. So that's not great, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it is what it is. Vivid Views is asking, the weather isn't looking great. Um,
currently is looking great, but as we could
no, I mean
experience,
for
yeah,
the launch.
yeah. So to be honest, I haven't seen any weather forecast for today. Yesterday was 45%, and they had actually the gap for a nice weather. But yeah, this technical problem was just coming up, so they couldn't launch. And yeah, if somebody has information about the today's weather forecast, then please share with us and with
Hmm.
the community. But yeah, there is no, or at least I haven't seen any today, any
Absolutely.
forecast.
Al Sanders is saying, how about for this theory? Why? Oops. Oh, you clicked it. I'll do that, Jonathan. Or I don't know. Anyway, so how about for this theory? Why performed an official WDR, so wet dress rehearsal? I would propose yesterday's test was just that, a test on the entire ground and Starship integrated test. Yesterday was very successful. I think this is how they roll these days. So they try to launch it, and if it's not launched, they just consider it as a WDR.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it was a WDR, but it wasn't a successful one, or at least they have found some problems. So, uh, so
But
yeah,
that's what the WDR is about.
yeah, actually, yes. So
They try
that's
to
why,
tank it, and if any problem
yeah,
occurs, then they fix it.
Yeah, yeah. So we can say this. So
Yeah.
yeah, but so the original plan was to launch the Starship and not only a ground test.
Mhm.
But finally it was WDR.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And there's another one from Christopher Ruggles. Do you think Starship will make it to splashdown today? It's a good one. I think in one piece or many pieces, but it definitely does. Um,
It won't
I'm
remain up. That's for sure.
I am kind of positive. We were talking with our community yesterday about this as well. I'm pretty confident that it will. Definitely trust the new design, and if Flight 9 wouldn't have the leak in the what's the top the reserve fuel tank. What is it called in
Heather
English?
thing.
The header tank. Thank you. If the header tank wouldn't leak methane, then the ship wouldn't spin, and then probably they could have done a controlled reentry. So I think, yeah, yeah, yes.
I think so as well. That I at least I try to be optimistic all the time, but yeah, currently I'm optimistic again, and I guess they will nail it for today.
Hmm.
So they had so many problems earlier, and they could fix it, or they it seems they could fix the biggest problem, which was the harmonic resonance
Hmm.
for the ship 33 and 34. And yeah, the 35 had a different problem, but it was quite yeah, it was totally different problem, and that's why I think that since S35 could already reach the SECO, that's why I think so that if they could manage or they could solve this problem with the COP, not the COP, but this leak from the header tank, and maybe it wasn't a so big problem. That's why I think so that now the ship 37 will be successful finally, which would be the first successful launch this year. It's quite strange to to say it loud out, but yeah, that's the reality that currently we are in that position, or not we, but the SpaceX is that in that position or situation that they didn't have a successful Starship flight still this year,
Yeah.
and we are
It's
almost end of August.
it's not looking great.
No,
It's there's no way, no other way to describe it. It's just not looking great.
what
But
maybe
go
you
on.
can talk about it better, Sabi, than me. That we are highlighting all the time that it's not so crucial, this kind of
Hmm.
flight. So this one and the next flights. So
Hmm.
the last two remaining Block 2 version ships are not so crucial
Hmm.
in terms of the version 3 ships.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I mean, I've seen some headlines here and there saying how important this launch is. Don't get me wrong. I think every launch is important because every launch has um, precious value of information. So they get feedbacks, especially with this new design, and especially that it never really conducted a successful relight, engine relight in space, and a re-entry. Or a payload door opening closing is kind of important, but not that so important than the relight and the re-entry. But it's very important to mention that this one, so this full stack first and second stage, and the second one, what's gonna fly during flight 11, they're gonna be the last second generation, so V2 boosters in ships.
Hmm.
And after that they're gonna have this design change, and then they're only gonna have from then on third generation first and second stages. So they need to restart everything in terms of flying testing with the V3 design. So it kinda doesn't matter what's happening here, and in terms of failure, I mean. So if both gonna explode in space and gonna have a flight 7 or flight 8 fate, it still doesn't matter because V3s are already being produced, and they're gonna kind of start with a clean sheet. And I think they can still be on the top of their game if everything turns out to be um, good. And in terms of if they corrected all the harmonic resonance, the pogo effect on the V3s. We don't know because this is already a design and they cannot really make huge changes. But with the V3s, probably they already did. Um, and let's be frank, Flight 9 was already good. So
Yeah.
apart from the header tank leak, it seems all right. So yeah, I'm so positive about this one.
Mhm. Yeah, and what we can be sure about that even if these last two versions, two ships or starships, so the full stack will be successful, even with these two success, the first version 3 Starship won't be launched to orbit yet because maybe as you know, they're gonna have new Raptor, so the third generation Raptor will be introduced as well. That's why they have to prove that this engine is reliable and they can relight it in space. So that means that and that's why I'm talking about the successful flights and the first version 3 Starship. So because we get this question many times that which starship can be the first one which is going to orbit first, and everyone says okay, the if the this last two two ships will be successful, then the first version 3 can be the first orbital starship, but it's not the situation because the Raptor 3 has to prove itself first, and maybe that means that the earliest flight could be to orbit the flight 12, if I'm correct. Yeah, so flight 12. No, 13. Yeah, 13. Yeah,
13
yeah. Flight 12 will be the first V3
V3.
launch. That will be suborbital for sure, and that's why the earliest flight can be to orbit the flight 13. Yeah.
But it's still a huge question mark
Yeah.
if they would
Yes.
give a green. Because from that moment you are on orbit, this is a huge vehicle. This is 52 meters, right?
Hmm. Currently,
So
yeah.
yeah, and it's stainless steel.
If we are going back to the live stream, maybe the
Oops!
adapter
Look! 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 Look!
is
Look! 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 Look!
is
It's moving.
closing to the hole. If I'm correct, maybe
No,
they are
we are
touching
back.
right
We
now.
are on the live stream.
We are
Yeah.
so back.
This
Ah,
is
yes, it's.
your
Mhm.
marker, right? The black marker, Jonathan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So cool. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's attaching. It is
Just
attaching.
please don't leak.
No, but I mean that's already a good sign that they are
Yeah, yeah,
trying
yeah.
to connect it.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Um,
the technicians left, if I'm correct, or
awesome.
maybe they are still there, but.
Jonathan, can we zoom in? I know it's gonna be choppy, but if we can still zoom in, I think let's go for it because yeah, that's that doesn't matter if it's a little bit goes against the resolution, but I think it's worth. Uh-huh. Yeah, whatever. Let's see. Let's see.
Mhm.
Thank you. But it's good.
Finally, good signs.
Nah, okay. So anybody who's joining us right now, we are about just a little bit over 8 hours before launch, and on the left upper corner, you can see the red highlighted timing. So yeah, just please chat. Just recommend to everybody who's just happen to join us and asking. So what time the launch is? Well, there you go. It's on the upper left corner. And we've been waiting for this because a couple of hours ago we started keeping an eye on what's going on, and we've seen that they disconnected the disconnect arm. I mean, that's what it's for, right? For disconnecting.
Yeah.
Uh,
But this time
and
not quick, but slow.
yeah, exactly. Slow connecting arm. But yeah, it should be connected. So they
Hmm.
changed some hose, some piping,
Hmm.
and hopefully that's gonna do the job right now. Okay, we can see that it's being pushed against the ship right now.
Yeah, it's It's getting closer and closer.
Yeah. I'm actually very glad that they waited for us.
Yeah, the timing is perfect. So
Yeah.
thanks,
We
thanks
definitely
SpaceX.
we have to write an email for them to appreciate their generosity for
Yeah, and
waiting for this
one
show
more
for
very
this.
one more very important thing. We
Hmm.
have talked about it yesterday on our own show, but yeah, it's quite funny. But if we are thinking about that, maybe the history will repeat itself, then we can think about, for example, the Falcon 1, which in that case, the fourth launch was the first successful launch. And if we are thinking about the Block 1 starships, even there, the fourth launch was the first very successful launch, and that's why we can think that maybe in terms of the second generation, the fourth launch will be the most successful so far. So that's of course a joke, but maybe we can attach ourselves to it for a bit
So
and
are you
thinking
saying from now
positive.
they should say 4 time lucky instead of 3 time lucky?
Fourth time
Third time,
charm, as they say.
yeah, exactly. Well, don't just change it because it can bite back with the V3 design. So we don't want to wait for
Yeah.
four launches for the success. Um,
But
okay,
maybe the
anyway.
change between second and third generation won't be so big as compared to the first and second generation. So uh, at the beginning of this year, the changes were so many and so big that maybe that was the
Drastic.
most
Yeah.
drastic. Yeah, that was the
Mm-hmm.
main problem for SpaceX
Yeah.
guys, that they couldn't test it in on the ground.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we have talked about it earlier
Indeed.
quite a lot, and it's
Indeed.
still a problem.
Two things I need to mention from the chat. So first of all, I try not to butcher your name. Ola Westling Gold Marsdod. Thank you very much for the 100 Swedish krona. Thank you for supporting the What About It team. I think they are doing an incredible job. Felix is doing a great job with the whole team. So thank you for supporting them. If you haven't subscribed, definitely just do that. That's for everybody. And smash the like button because that goes a long way. It really helps the analytics to treat this channel right. Also, if you have a question, just put hashtag question in front of your question, and it's going to be easier for us to find your question. Just let us know what you would like to know, and this is a free chatting sort of 1 hour, and we are more than happy to answer your questions. Okay, let's see. Are they going not list? Okay, so the Humming Pylon is asking, so did they fix the antenna? Are they going to not lose Starship this time? I think is referring on the antenna on the
The tower.
yeah, the tower.
Mhm.
But I think they did overcome this problem quite a while ago, and
Sure.
they already had a few landings, not many, but two probably successful landings since.
Hmm. Or
And
catching.
sorry, well, yeah, we always have this debate. According to David, for him,
Technically, they haven't landed.
so if anything lands on a ship, is it a landing or not for you? Because
It
it's
lands
not on the
because
ground
it's
technically, but it's
yeah,
not on
but
the ground.
it
It's on the
they
water.
yeah, but the drone ship. So yeah, it's a flat thing. So something is connecting with the legs of the Falcon 9. But since Super Heavy doesn't have any legs, then it's not connecting with the ground. So that's
You are
why
so
technically
technical. It still landed, right? It's not. It stopped flying,
that's there. Yeah, that's 100% sure, and you are
so it's
right. But
landed.
it's still caught. Okay, so that's my
Anyway,
famous verb.
please help us to see this problem more clearly. And in the meantime, while we were debating these terminology, I think the quick disconnect arm, no, the disconnect itself, the face hugger, just got a tiny bit closer and probably more tighter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jonathan is saying in the back channel that it's It looks like it's connected. So let's just remain like that from
Mhm.
now on, and we want it to remain connected. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
But anyway, the antenna was already in good condition previously. So, but we can be sure about that the booster 16 won't be caught this time. So this will be the first and the last flight of it.
mhm.
So actually, they don't need it anymore because, as we mentioned, there is only one more Block 2 version Starship left, and that's why, since they have the booster 15-2 and besides the booster 17, that's why they decided not to attempt to catch it. I mean the booster 16, so it will be land. Now I use this verb land because it will be a water landing if it survives the re-entry, of course, because as we have seen previously in case of the booster 14, I think. Of course, it was on the flight 9. 14, no, was it 14-2? I don't
14-2
remember.
landed on the, well, it
No,
was
it was blown
it
up.
was caught by the water.
No, it was blown up, right? Yeah, but in many pieces.
Sorry, I'm pulling your leg now.
No, no, no. But yeah, I tried
No,
to.
it was a water landing. Yeah, I think.
But
Dash two?
which was, I mean,
Dash,
what was the Flight 9 booster? Booster
I think
14-2, right?
50, what? Probably
Okay, I'll
dash
try
two.
check
Yeah,
it.
probably dash two. Yeah,
But
yeah,
it
yeah.
was
Because
blown up
15
because
was
they,
flying one before. Yeah.
yeah, and it's still there in the Mega Bay too. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
talking about
14 dash two. Yeah, I think.
that on the Flight 9 they tried to try out something different re-entry, so the angle of attack, and but this time I don't think so that they will attempt to test anything else. So um, they just dropping the booster. Of course, it will come back, so it won't remain in space. But this time there won't be a bigger angle of attack. Just it's coming back, and we'll see. But maybe the engine selection or the engine
Configuration.
configuration will be a bit different. So they will try out something different as well, but not in terms of the angle of attack, so the reentry. Um, but yeah, the configuration of the related engines will be different this time.
Yeah, so booster 14 dash two was the one that was on flight 9.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it was blown
And
up
booster
because of the too
15 was
high.
before. Yeah, 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 absolutely. Absolutely. So according to SpaceX, they are keep on trying and testing certain scenarios on with the booster. Because to be fair, again, these are V2 boosters, and they don't have to prove anything anymore with the boosters. They caught them a couple of times. It works. There is no need to risk not just the tower, but I think more importantly the infrastructure. If there's something goes wrong, it falls onto the tank farm or anything like that happens, there's no point. They already proved for themselves what they wanted to prove. So from then on, Flight 10 and Flight 11, no booster catch attempts. And instead, they're gonna test certain scenarios if something goes wrong. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, on the during the landing, from the three center boost, the three center engines, they're gonna switch off, turn off one, and then they're gonna compensate on the opposite side on the in the inner ring,
The
from
middle
that
ring, right?
10. Yeah,
Yep.
middle ring. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They're gonna compensate one with one engine on the opposite side, and they're gonna test how it's performing during landing. It's safety measures basically. So I think it's wise from them. Believe me, we were bashing SpaceX for a lot of things during the past few episodes, and definitely they've done so many mishaps lately. But I like this one on them, that they are actually using these opportunities to test
Mhm.
the vehicle further. That's absolutely clever, I have to say.
Yeah, and yeah, maybe it's not because they don't want to risk the catch tower or the service tower, because maybe, as we all know, there is only one remaining flight or launch from this pad A or first pad or pad
Hmm.
one. Uh, so because of it's not compatible with the third generation starships anymore. uh, it will be useless after the flight 11.
Hmm.
So, and it's not 100% sure how they will rebuild it, even if they will rebuild it, or they will just demolish everything except the tower, because that would maybe that would be unnecessary. But it's quite sure that the OLM will be gone, and maybe they won't rebuild it for a new launch pad, but maybe this tower will be only a catch tower in the future, and maybe in the middle term future they will build a totally entirely new launch pad again, if they get a new territory or new land, or yeah, new EIS, of course. But yeah, it's theoretically yet. So, but we can what we can be sure about, that the pad A will be one remaining launch, and that's why maybe they could risk if they want to.
Hmm. Okay, couple of questions.
Okay.
Mahabub Alam is asking, when could be the V3 operational, be in operation? But there was another person asking about when the first flight could be with the V3. Let me start with the first flight. So
Hmm.
that's supposed to be flight 12. Yes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
flight 10, flight 11, V2, and then the design change, and hopefully ship 39 and booster 18?
18 rests.
18,
Yes.
yeah. So that's supposed to be the first pair. When? Hmm,
That's a bigger question.
maybe end of the year, because probably David gonna talk about it a bit more, about this magical three, the number three. But it's definitely, just let's not forget that it's the design change, and they can only use pad B for that purpose.
Yeah, so we have to talk about more factors about the generation change and the first launch from Pad B. So the infrastructure itself should be ready until October in terms of the Pad B or second Pad. But the bigger question, when the first booster and the first ship of the third generation will be ready, and when Raptor 3 will be ready, actually. And maybe that's the biggest question currently, because um, in the last couple of months or weeks, we could see, I would better say months, that the Raptor 3 development, or yeah, the developing phase was a bit slower than SpaceX wanted to. And yeah, they started to have more complex tests at McGregor test site in the next couple of weeks. So that's why we can think that maybe they have finally found something, and they can now turn to the mass production of the Raptor 3 engines, and maybe it's more reliable than previously. And because in the last couple of months we could see some quite big booms at McGregor, and maybe that wasn't a good sign.
No.
And that's why I think so that even if the Pad B will be ready until October, we have to wait until the beginning of next year until we can see the first full stack on the Pad B. Maybe they will have some they have some fitting checks only with the booster without engines, but yeah, that will be only a ground test, let's say. So the first launch, I would say maybe in February, let's say. Yeah, now, now I say 26, February 26. That will be the first launch, and actually that means that the flight 12.
Okay.
I don't know how. What do you think, Sabi?
I don't know. I honestly I don't like to speculate that far because it's just yeah, ship 36. Did anybody see that coming? No. So
That's true.
it's so many factors are out. English says one step at a time. I kind of keep that.
And we can be sure, sorry, just one sentence, that they will have at least two or not three, or even more ground tests with each stages. So with the first stage, with the second stage, in the very early test phase as well. So with the cryogenic proof test, because it will be entirely new systems and constructions.
Yeah, but I have to say something. I think so. I don't know how many of. Okay, first of all, before I begin, let's just put out a question, Jonathan, if you can, regarding what people think about. I'm talking to the back channel, Jonathan. Just if anybody thinks that I'm talking to ghosts, I'm not.
Or to
Or
yourself.
I'm going crazy. So let's just put out a questionnaire here, a poll. Let's just ask people whether they think that this flight gonna be successful or not. It would be nice to see how people think about it. So I don't know how many of you did see CSI Starbase, so Zach Golden's latest video about the Messi's test site, but and I'm not gonna go into it. Watch it; it's brilliant. But why I'm dragging this into this conversation is because David was talking about Pad B, and I think Pad B is going to make such a difference in terms of how operational and how well is it going to do its job. The difference will almost be like doing launches from or tests from what was it, pad A and pad, not pad A and pad B, the test pad tests, what was it,
Suborbital pad.
yeah, the suborbital pad A and pad B. So in that video, Zach is summarizing how much problems they actually had by doing static fires from suborbital pads, and how it's, you remember, it started digging up the concrete and it was flying all over. It was damaging the vehicle. They had they now they have these amazing shots of from Messi's of the ship from underneath when all six engines are on. So they attempted those camera shots with the suborbital pads, but they were always smashed by the flying concrete. So they couldn't record any of these footages and the damages and the constant problems. And all of a sudden, they build the flame trench on Massey's. Everything went smooth. And they could do a minute long tests. And so what I'm trying to go with this is that Pad B, I think, is going to be a mega difference compared to Pad A because
Mhm.
of the design change and how well it's designed. And actually, I've been thinking quite a lot of it. That is it really SpaceX cutting corners in all areas, but is it really paying out doing these flaws in terms of testing like IFT1 when they just dug out the whole concrete base from underneath Olam? So so they try to be new and forward thinking and approach it in a different way, and many times they actually end up exactly doing the same way as the industry is doing, not with everything obviously, but with many things. When it comes to flame trenches and launch pads,
And
they
proper
ended
launch
up,
pads. Yeah.
yeah, they ended up exactly to the traditional frame trenchy kind of. Okay, the water deluge system is different. That's kind of revolutionary, but otherwise, they're doing it exactly the same way as everybody else.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's wise to being attached to the traditional way, if you know what I'm talking about. So it's not only about to trying out everything new what we have thinking about or thought about. So yeah, this OLMA or PAD A, it's yeah, it maybe it wasn't the best option. Yeah, but they have tried it out. They have learned their lessons, and that's how Pad B and of course the future launch pads are
Hmm.
born. So
Hmm.
what we can see at the KIC right now, it's actually the copy paste of the Pad B, only just a couple of months behind the schedule. But what we can see from the satellite images and some flyover photos, um, it's almost the same like Pad B at the Starbase, and it's a good thing because even if they don't have any test data from the Pad B, they they think so that okay, we have to build traditional launch pads to have the correct and proper base of the future Starship launches.
Hmm. Okay, back to the questions. So, hey team, first, many thanks for the Q&A session. Appreciated. Second, do we know why was it aborted yesterday? Let's cover it again because I think it cannot be covered enough.
Yeah, so it was a technical problem, not with the Starship, but with the quick disconnect system, or at least with the fueling system. What we are watching right now with the ship quick disconnect system. So there was a leaking in the oxygen pipes, or one pipe or hose, and they had to fix it. And as far as we can see, they have done it, and now they can attempt another one launch today.
Indeed. Okay, and that was Marcos Herrera Copado, sorry, the question from him. Also, Electric Sunrise. The question is, since Flight 10 is featuring some new tile designs, what do you think will be most effective, speculatively speaking? Hmm. Okay.
So yeah, there are informations that there are some experimental heat tiles between the let's say original ones. So what SpaceX tries to figure out what could be the final solution of the heat shield, because as far as we know, the current design is not feasible, and they have to figure out something else to be reliable, to be um, much stronger. And they trying out, or they are testing an active cooling system under the heat tiles. And which another difference is that instead of this ceramic
Ceramic. Hmm.
ceramic um, how to
E-tile.
say it,
Hmm.
heat tile, yeah, they have now these metallic heat tiles, but only some of them.
Liquid cooled. Yeah.
Yeah, liquid cooled active cooling system. And yeah, the problem is that they haven't, or they couldn't test it previously, because not no of the ships have reached that phase. I mean the plasma phase, which would be the main test for this heat tile system. But maybe that's why this time ship can be much more successful, and it will be reach the reentry phase, and finally SpaceX will have some test data about the heat shield. So fingers crossed.
Let's just show a photo that I'm showing, Jonathan, please. We can see on that some of the tiles are missing. They
Mhm.
already told us that this is going to happen, and you can see on the top quite a few is missing. On this angle, I mean, yes, it's visible that here and there. So
Yes, there are some gaps. Yeah,
all around the ship is covered with gaps. I don't know what this is. So is
I
this
think it
the
just fell.
Yeah, probably just fell off, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. And I think we talked about these small tiles. Okay, this is not the best resolution. I tried to find another photo. Maybe this one slightly better, but you can see that some of the tiles are missing. But it's so white. Um, I mean, there is no other white tiles, so it's either this liquid cooled one, or God knows. But definitely some of them is missing intentionally. And on the side there are these tapered areas,
Hmm.
which basically yeah, in here you can see all the way. It's kind of a paint on it,
Yeah.
and they're gonna test all these areas basically. It looks like so. Yeah,
And
very
if you're going
interesting.
back to the previous photo, sorry, just one more
There were two.
comment.
Which one? The lifted one or the ground one?
The lifted one, please.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see some of the or the most of the missing tiles are missing in a row. So if you are zooming in even more, then we can see that it's quite a nice um,
You mean
row.
on a vertical row? So
Yeah, in a
like from
vertical row.
from
So
top
they
to
are.
down. Yeah.
As far as I can see, it's a
Mm-hmm.
pattern. So they are missing in yeah, again in a row. So not
Mm-hmm.
in every different
In a
parts
line.
of the whole, but it seems it's a quite
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
straight row
possibly.
all.
But
So
yeah, but it's definitely there's no secret about that. That they are
mhm,
testing these heat tiles, and they're testing again the reentry, which is again it's classic SpaceX, to be fair, because on one hand they are desperate to try to test actually the reentry phase and validate the reentry itself. But on the other hand, what are they doing? They actually taking off tiles and not covering the side of it because they would like to see the weak points. And I think the English has a saying, you cannot have a cake and eat it. So, which means that you, in my opinion, they should test one or the other. So either they want to verify the shape of it, so the shape of the ship, and justifying that this new tinier and moved flaps in the front,
mhm,
they do the job, and also the heat tiling. So it's quite likely that it's gonna fall apart because the missing tiles and the tiles are not covering the side of the ship. But I get it on the other hand as well, that they have not two V2 ships left, and why not sacrificing them? So yeah, I get it.
mhm,
I get
yeah.
both worlds has their own justice, I think.
And we don't know exactly how the heat shield of the V3 or the third generation ships will look like. Maybe
Hmm.
they will have even less heat ties because with that they could save some mass. But there is only, of course, there is minimum limit under it they can't go because they need the heat ties and yeah, that's the main question, how these heat ties could be have could have a longer life, or how to say so, reliable and maybe, as you remember, one of the biggest problem of the space shuttles were the heat tiles because they were so different. They differed from each other so many ways, and 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 um, and the maintaining time was so long that's why it wasn't so good solution. And that's a one that's the biggest thing, or the most important thing, what SpaceX tries or wants to dodge, or how to say. So they don't want to face with the same problem as the space shuttles have had
Hmm.
that time. with the heat tiles. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why they are trying out different ways again with this active cooling system, and yeah, again, finally some test data would help them, and maybe tomorrow this time they will have already have some test data with after a successful flight then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one more question. Just joining what's the launch counter at. You can see it on the left upper corner. That's where you can find the launch time, and it will remain there up until the launch. Felix will join you later on, a couple of hours before the launch, prior to the launch. So definitely come back to the main channel and watch this epic launch with Felix and the team. Hopefully, it will go. I don't want them to trick us again, because yesterday I think many channels tuned in, including What About It, and it kind of didn't happen. We know that it's a rocket launch. Nothing is carved in stones. It up until it is on, it's not. So, but I'm really glad that during the show we had to come together for the ship disconnect arm to connect. Oops. And just when I said it,
It
it was
disconnected
removed.
again.
But look, okay,
Oh,
I got a theory. I think they were just testing it. I think because it just
I hope
put
you are
it
right.
just it just retracted, and I think they were just simulating uh its job disconnecting. So let's hope so. We're gonna keep an eye on it in the next few minutes until we are live. And hey, you wanted some action? Here we go. We have some action right now.
Maybe there are too many actions already, so
Yeah.
please just settle down and prepare for launch, please, and
No, I mean they had probably they
don't play
had to
with our
make
nerves.
sure probably they had to make sure that it's disconnecting. So because I only guess that they wanted to see that the mechanism works. So yeah, let's see if it goes back in the next couple of minutes.
Mhm.
Uh,
So
yeah.
again, the launch will be at between 6:30 and 7:30 local, so Starbase time or Central time in Europe. So for example, in our time is 1 a.m. until 2 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. in the morning. And yeah, just please convert it as you want in your time. But again, from 6:30 until 7:30 is the launch window at Starbase time, so at Central time.
There's an interesting question and answer in the chat. Thank you guys for being so interactive. So Fish was asking, how will they be able to evaluate heat shield performance if a massive failure is inevitable because of all the missing tiles? And the answer is from Hello 0931, and he was saying, or she, they have sensors specifically installed in the spots where they are using prototype tiles and or no tiles. Data transfer is live, which is pretty cool. And why do we know that? We do know that because when the ship re-enters, I think this is one of the coolest thing ever about Starship, is
Hmm.
because it's so damn large and it has two antennas or a couple of Starlink antennas at the backside of it.
It's
Um,
facing to the space. Or
exactly.
yeah.
It means that it's punching such a hole in the plasma that it can communicate
Hmm.
through Starlink satellites, which are obviously higher, around 550 kilometers above the ground. And there is no other ship or spacecraft in the world that can do that. So
Hmm.
that's why we can enjoy the re-entry live. And if it's when it was happening during daytime, I that's just an amazing view. Um, and probably a couple of words about the lighting conditions. So during the launch, that will happen toward the end of the day, but still daylight. And then the coastal phase gonna be during nighttime,
Mhm.
and then the landing is going to happen during daytime again. But I think it's still gonna be around dark area in the space when the plasma phase will begin. So
Mhm.
if if the
Yes.
flight go through, well, if it go all the way to the end till re-entry, I think this is gonna be a real treat. So definitely stay tuned here and watch the launch with Felix, and let's cheer for Flight 10 for a successful launch.
Yeah, so we are finishing currently this show. So if somebody is just or doesn't understand how so early we have started, so we are finishing this one as Sabi mentioned, actually the launch live stream will be starting a couple of hours before the launch window start. So just keep an eye on this channel, and yeah, that would be from us for now for today, and we will see you next week, I think so.
Indeed, go Flight 10, go SpaceX, and smash the like button and subscribe. That's free. Yeah, good luck. Take care, guys.
Yep. Bye bye.